Hello, welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining us. Today we'll be making fried tomato stew and fufu. Fufu is a common staple throughout much of West Africa. This recipe obviously then comes from West Africa. It's a country called Togo, which is a small, narrow country, and it's bordered by the Atlantic Ocean. So let's get started. So for the stew, we'll need 2 tomatoes diced. My dad bought some tomatoes from the farmer's market, so we're just using one big one. 1 large onion diced. It suggested a bell pepper, but that's optional, or a jalapeno pepper. I don't have that right now. 2 6 ounces of tomato paste, crushed red pepper to taste, I believe it was a teaspoon of ground ginger and a teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 bay leaf, eggs for protein. I'm just going to go ahead and put in 4. And then for the fufu, yam, or you could also use cassava. It's also known as manioc or yucca. It's not, even though it's called sometimes yucca, it's not related to the ornamental plant with the flowers. If you're like me, you prefer not to peel vegetables because that's where all the nutrients are, but we are going to have to peel this one because it has a really thick skin. I forgot to mention that you also need 1/2 cup of coconut oil. So the instructions for cooking the cassava just said cook until finished. So I'm going to treat it kind of like cooking potatoes. As you can see, I tried to cut it up fairly small so it will cook more quickly. Completely cover it with water, then cover it with a lid, and bring it to a boil, and let it boil for about 10 to 15 minutes until it's tender, and then we'll check on it. So I wound up cooking the cassava more like 45 minutes before it was soft enough. Now to turn this into fufu, a paste or dough-like consistency, the instructions say to use a mortar and pestle. I don't have one, so I'm going to see, hopefully a potato masher will work. And we're supposed to mash it for 20 minutes, so we're going to get a nice arm workout here. Yeah, I just keep trying to turn it over with the wooden spoon, hoping that'll work, kind of like a bowl, like the mortar and pestle would. So I've been mashing it for about 20 minutes. It's probably the last 5 or so minutes that it actually finally started to look correct. I was starting to think that maybe it wouldn't look right at all. But it is kind of like a really hard dough. So I'm going to go ahead and transfer this to a shallower pan because I want to use this to cook the stew. Since the pan has been off heat for a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and start it on high. We add the coconut oil, 1/2 cup. It's nice and soft because it's been sitting out in the warm kitchen. Whoop, didn't get quite all of it. Now go ahead and spread it around so it all melts. Okay, so now the oil is ready. We can add the onions. And I'm turning down the heat now. And we're supposed to cook this for about 2 minutes until we get a little soft. So it's been 2 minutes. So it's time to add the tomato paste. Add 2 tablespoons of garlic powder. 1 tablespoon of ginger powder. Add the tomato and pepper. Ooh, that smells good. and stir. Stir, the directions say, until the tomato paste is well cooked. I'm going to guess they mean thinned out like a liquid. We're going to go ahead and add a little water just to make it a little bit more saucy. But you don't want to make it too thin either. Yeah, that looks better. That looks a little more saucy. Now we add the bay leaf. We're going to cover it. There we go. Cover it and let it simmer for about 10 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and move it to the back. While the sauce is cooking, we're going to scramble up these eggs. It's been about 10 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and add the egg mixture, or the scrambled eggs, and stir it kind of gently so I don't lose the bay leaf. And then we'll cook it for about 3 or 4 more minutes. It's been a few minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and let it cool down. Remove it from the heat, let it cool down, and then we'll add the seasonings, the salt and the red pepper to taste. So I'm going to start off with just a teaspoon of red pepper flakes and add, just add a little salt, not a whole lot. We'll taste it to see if this is okay. Probably use just a little more hot flakes. But I'm trying not to make it too hot because my mom has trouble with hot food. Yeah, that tastes pretty good, so we'll try it out in a minute. Okay, so now it's time to try it out. The instructions said you're supposed to roll this into kind of a ball and make a little indent with your thumb. And then we scoop it up. It's still kind of hot. It's pretty good. The sauce makes me think of pizza. The blandness of the cassava kind of comes through. Maybe a little more salt in the sauce might help. I don't know. Yeah. I think just putting a little more sauce on their little cassava utensil would work. So, sorry, I'm trying to adjust myself so you can see me. So that's actually pretty good. I like that. I like it a lot. I wouldn't mind making it again. It was pretty simple to make. If you try it out, let me know what you think in the comments. And of course, as usual, I'll include the recipes down in the description box, a link to the recipes. Okay, you have a good day or night.